right, so we are here with Matthew Reynolds, and you directed Blackbird?
I did. I directed Blackbird and numerous other films, but this is by far the best one.
I
The most successful one we've done, at least.
It has been. I saw it's got a lot of views already. It's only been up for what, like a month on YouTube?
Yeah, a couple of months maybe. But yeah, I'm glad that quite a lot of people have watched it because it's so British, it's so English. That's why I was quite glad that you liked it. I didn't know whether people are going to get the dark side of humor, but then I guess you are like quite a big horror fan, so you might like the more twisted stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I think good horror fans, I think we really like things that are outside of the mainstream, like outside of American horror. There's always this joke,
Yeah.
of, if you want to ruin a good horror movie, remake it in America. So many great ones.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we've ruined a lot of good quality British things. Have you seen the American remake of Skins?
Sorry.
I said we've ruined quite a lot of British things as well. Have you seen the American remake of Skins?
I haven't. I've not even seen the British version of Skins, actually. I've seen the first episode. It does look really good. But we have a comedy called The Inbetweeners, and I've seen clips of the American version.
Oh my
that
God.
is atrocious. That is awful.
They cast such pretty people. Like, these aren't nerds. They're not dorks.
I know, it just doesn't work.
They
I
look
just
like
think
a cat.
remakes in general, I have a problem with. I don't know why you need to just remake the same ideas, like do something original. I guess that's what me and my group try to do, because there's just not enough original stuff out there, and I think everything we've made is like quite surprising. I think that's why we've got a bit of like a cult following, I would say, on Instagram and stuff. Like, people like what we have to offer, even if it's not the best. It's just something different. It's not Scream 24 or something. It's like something brand new.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can watch the same girl run from a killer before you start to wonder maybe she deserved it.
Oh, 100%. Like, and the characters aren't even that likable sometimes. It's like, I kind of want to watch you die. No offense.
Right? Yeah, I think what you guys have done is definitely something that's original. It's different. It's not the same thing rehashed. We're really into that era of remakes, and it's getting old. So it's nice to see some young, independent filmmakers coming out. And
Definitely.
And that's why I'm kind of hoping that maybe that'll be an upside to this whole lockdown thing, is all of Hollywood shut down.
One of the big things I've noticed is everyone, I don't think there's anyone who hasn't like turned towards films and TV and stuff. So I never want to see anyone ever again calling people who want to do a film degree or something as not a real job, because it is clearly a real job. If in the situation of a pandemic, that's what everyone's turned into. No one's turned into like the jobs that people would consider big, except maybe doctors. They're kind of important right now. But it's things like creatives that right now are driving it forward, and they're keeping us sane a bit.
Right. I need a filmmaker more than I need an accountant. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, anyone who thinks that the arts aren't a valuable career, you wouldn't have made it without us. But so I'm kind of hoping, where I've heard a lot of people now are concerned about like the big budget movies, funding is drying up because with the economy, people are leery of investing. They don't have the money right now. But then you get these young sort of guerrilla Robert Rodriguez in the 90s type filmmakers, and we're doing it without any money.
I watched some films that are big budget, and I'm like, how on earth did they get the funding for this?
I know.
Some stuff. What was it last night that I found? Like, I was looking up the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie. Don't even ask why. It's awful. But I think that was $109 million, and I can't believe that. How did they spend that much on that?
Right, and you have to wonder, where did the money not just come from? Where did it go?
Who's spending that much on that?
Yeah, some creative accounting, I think, is how they come up with some of those numbers. Surely Mike Myers isn't worth that much money anymore. Although I've heard rumors of a new Austin Powers movie in the works, so I don't know. Maybe his price tag's going to go up again.
Yeah, true. He's getting back into it. To be fair, Austin Powers, whilst not exactly a masterpiece, it's better than Cat in the Hat. But then again, a lot of things are better than the Cat in the Hat. My first film that I made when I was 14 is better than Cat in the Hat. Like, that is saying a lot.
I have confidence in that. Is it available? Can I go judge that comment for myself?
Yes, I think it is. I'll send you it.
All right. Then I'll definitely go watch it. So, like, has this, like, because obviously you're in Britain, so you're way worse off than even we are. Has it slowed you down? Has it changed your approach?
Oh yeah, massively. So we have one of the worst cases of it in the entire world, which is quite insane. Because I remember being out with my friend and she was like, the first person in the UK's died of it. And I was like, obviously shocked, but I did not think that it would be, I think it's something like 1,000 people a day are dying over here. And it's like horrific. I know this is quite serious for film podcasts, but yeah, we've, I compare our Prime Minister a lot to Donald Trump. He's very, I think that says it all. I don't need to go into it. He's massive mates with Trump. He's into all that sort of stuff. So he's not exactly going to deal with something like this very well. So God knows how long this is going to go on for. I've heard in the US, like, you guys are opening restaurants and things like that. I do not know when we're going to open restaurants. We have not got anything open really. Yeah. But in terms of our filmmaking, we were about to film our newest film. So we released Blackbird. We were going to have a premiere of Blackbird, like big screen premiere. And we were really looking forward to that because that is big for someone our age. But then what happened was all the news reports came. We weren't in official lockdown, but I was like, guys, by the time we are able to do this premiere, there is going to be lockdown. We're not going to be allowed out. And if not, it's going to be a massive risk. So we had to cancel the Blackbird premiere, so we thought just stick it on YouTube early. Then it's done well. I almost wonder if there's a benefit. I almost wonder, is it done better because it's just gone online rather than the premiere? Because all the people who would have gone to the premiere watched it online instead, and then they shared it around. I wonder if that's a little benefit. Then we were meant to be filming our film after that within a couple of weeks. And then obviously the pandemic happened. So I've spent lockdown basically brushing up that script. I've brought in a co-writer as well, and it's improved massively. So I wonder if so much of the best parts to this new film have been written in this situation. So I wonder if that's been an upside to it.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously it's an awful thing. Lots of people sick, lots of people died, whole business is ruined. But there are positives, and
there are some positives. Yeah,
and I think especially for the independent artist, you're going to start seeing people had time to work, and where there's a lack of funding, Hollywood shut down. Guys like you are kind of like getting in there.
Yeah, we are. Well, obviously not much news getting made.
Right.
So that's been one of our selling points of Blackbird. Like, yeah, if you're looking for something to watch with all this time you've got in your hands, spare 20 minutes, why not watch a murderous girl in the 80s just going around stabbing people? Why not? Just why not?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched so many new things because I try to watch a lot of new stuff because that's what we do. We review horror, we make horror things, but you don't always have time. And now, like, I'm finding so many new things. You know, we used to do a series every week. We did Short Fridays. We'd highlight all of these horror shorts. I haven't had time to do that in forever, and now we've written several.
Yeah, there's so much time. I don't know, so I've written this new script I was talking about. I'm thinking of moving on to a couple. I'm actually going to write a horror comedy, which we've not done a horror before, but it's really, if you think Blackbird's twisted, this one is insane. I think I'm going to write that next, and then then we'll have in the pipeline like loads of scripts. So as soon as it's safe to go back out again, we don't have to waste time. Scripts will just be film. It'll just be all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll just miss having all this free time on my hands because we'll always be doing stuff.
Yeah, I know, as we're starting to open back up, and then I've had to, like, you know, go to meetings and appointments and things that were canceled, and we're kind of like catching up. I'm like, I would rather just go back inside. I was really productive under lockdown. I mean, I was very drunk for most of it, but very productive.
Yeah, I've been very productive. I don't think I'm going to be as productive definitely when it ends. I think I'm just going to be grateful to be allowed out. It's just weird how long this has gone on for, but it's weird how quick it seemed. Like it was 2 months ago. See, that's how I've lost track of time. I can't even think of how long it was. I think it's been 2 months proper lockdown. But a lot of the British people, being who they are, just being like, oh, I won't get it, and then all just flood into the beach. So the beaches have been packed over the past few days. So I'm just expecting this to go on for ages. Like, British people don't listen.
You're very pragmatic people, but you feel like you're really resilient. So they're like, I'm fine. It'll be all right.
Yeah, we're strange people. Yeah, it's when you watch like pandemic movies or zombie movies and you're like, that's stupid. People wouldn't still go out, would they? And then this has happened in the UK. Like, I swear it's busier outside than it was beforehand. I go on, like, because we're allowed on walks and stuff, obviously. I go on a walk and I'm like, I've never seen these people in my life. I go for walks anyway. Why are they out now? As soon as they're not allowed to go out, they go out.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I always see all these people out, and I'm like, I have no idea who you are. You've never been to this place before, but they needed something.
Yeah, it's like, now I'm allowed to go for a walk. I'm going to go for a walk. Well, why did...
When before the longest
you
walk...
do know that was allowed anyway. You do know you were allowed. You've always been allowed to go for a walk. It's not just now.
Yes, but now it's dangerous, so it's more exciting, apparently.
Yeah, now I'm going to risk my life by going for a run.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited because I've always loved like the contagion pandemic subgenre sort of thing, and I'm just waiting for about 12 to 18 months when every horror movie coming out is going to start with someone coughing. Some of them are going to be good, most of them are going to be shit, but that's what I'm looking forward to.
As with all movies. But yeah, I wonder if they're going to make... Well, it's Hollywood. They're obviously going to at some point make like a biopic about the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing, like, people who... Because this is like probably the biggest thing we've lived through.
Yeah.
Like, this... Not generation. The people alive at the moment is probably the biggest thing they've lived through, unless they're a war veteran or something. But it's not like we can exactly use this experience in the way that someone who lived through World War II or something like that can, because there's all these stories, so much happens, but the pandemic kind of, unless you're an NHS frontline worker or like a doctor or something, you just kind of sat around, there's nothing to write about. If I'm talking about surviving a pandemic in like several decades time, they'll be like, oh, what did you do? I sat watching sitcoms.
I watched Cat in the Hat and wrote a script.
Yeah, there's nothing like to write about in terms of how I've survived this. It's just kind of been, sleeping for half a day.
I always thought that like a global apocalypse would be more exciting. Never occurred to me that it would just involve watching a bunch of Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. It's mad. It's not, when we don't really have to do much apart from stay inside, and some people can't even do that.
It's probably for the best that nothing bigger happened, because we've struggled with just that part, so...
Oh, I know, but... Oh, God help us if there's ever something worse than this. I don't know how we'll cope.
We're screwed. The monkeys will take over. It'll be all right.
I think the monkeys would do a better job than the British government. I can say that much.
They seem very happy in the zoos. They seem like an organized society. I trust them in charge.
Yeah, definitely. Completely.
But, like, I wonder, I don't know, like, people keep talking about what are going to be the lasting effects. And then I think, the Spanish flu pandemic, there really weren't any. So...
Yeah. I'd never even heard of that until, like, recently when people were making comparisons to it. I was like, did that happen? Like, we learn about the plague, but in that, a third of Europe died.
Yeah.
And let's hope it's not the same this time. I think we're a bit better equipped.
Yeah, we do have, maybe slightly better medical care than we did in the 13th century.
Yeah, we don't have those big masks now. We don't have those big, like, bird masks. Although they will be quite cool.
To make a plague doctor mask, the big bird beak mask, and go to the grocery store in it. Yeah, it seemed like it'd be fun.
It would be fun.
But, like, I'm wondering, I mean, how is this going to affect film? How do you shoot a conversation when, even long after we're allowed out, they're still going to be telling us to socially distance? We're going to need ultra-wide frames just to have, like, a two-shot conversation. So, I don't know, like... Is this going to affect how you approach filming, how you approach your crew?
I think it's going to have to, So basically even how bad the situation is over here, apparently they've just allowed film and TV production to start. And I do not know how that's going to happen, because if you've seen a film, you'll know that there has to be two people kind of close to each other. You can't just be stood apart. Right. I don't know how we're going to be able to do that. That's why I've said with this new one that I've been writing, I don't even know when it's going to be able to start, because it's about two people talking for most of the film, and they're going to have to get close at some point, because that's how life works. And a lot of it takes place in a restaurant and a cafe, and yeah, like, just good luck to us getting them when this is over. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I just can't see that being very interesting, watching two people socially distance, because especially if you're watching a film, like, even if you use the excuse of, like, oh, it's a pandemic, we have to socially distance, even if people say that in the film, that's a bit annoying, because the whole point of watching a film at the moment is to escape that situation, and then you're just being reminded of it.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to put, and not just the two actors, but a boom mic can only be so long. Exactly. You've got like a really long lens. Eventually, you're gonna have to get kind of close to the actors if you're gonna shoot it.
And we're all like a very close-knit group of people, so it's like usually the cast is like we're all friends anyway. It just happens to be that most of my friends are actors or other filmmakers or things like that. That's just how it works. But I doubt we could all see each other and be like that far apart. It just would seem so weird. And right. I just don't think that's possible in practice. I think if you say, oh yeah, you can do that, I don't think you could. It's just so strange to me. You may as well be on video call.
Right, it would be this. Although I have seen a few people attempting some Zoom horror movies right now as a way to keep shooting, but, being socially distant. But it's going to logistically prove a problem, I think. Even, like, a romantic scene, kissing, sex scenes, the porn industry is going to be fucked for a really long time.
They are, yes, absolutely.
I mean, unless it's, like, solo porn, but I don't see that as a huge
no, that's not particularly popular.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm curious to see how this is all gonna play out. Like, do you have your own funding source, or do you have to go out and beg for money like most other filmmakers?
Beg for money like most of the filmmakers, but we're just really, really resourceful, I think. And I don't know how we're so lucky, because we don't even, I don't know about you, but like, I don't know if I assume Americans are aware of this. Like, if you want to make a film in the UK, you've got to be in London. You can't be outside of London. We are on the other side of the country, so imagine how hard that is. It's just that it's great that even though we're not like from the capital or anything, or aka the only city that foreigners care about in the UK, we're obviously outside there, so it's even harder. But I just happen to be lucky to know so many people. Like, I write and produce the films of Connor O'Neill and then my brother John. So between us, we just know a massive like network of people. So we usually know someone who knows someone. And because we're young, we often have the excuse of like, oh, we're student filmmakers, and then they give it us for free. So that is quite good. God knows what's going to happen when I'm 30 and begging for this. They'll be like, just pay yourself.
Well, I trust that by then you'll have made a living or become an accountant. Something like that. You'll either be a successful filmmaker or you'll have a horribly boring job.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's not going to be an all right job. It's going to be one of two extremes. You make it or you don't.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's an expensive hobby. It's something that's hard to keep up once you've accepted the fact that you're never going to make it.
Yeah, it's so expensive. And especially, it's mainly the equipment, I think. Mm-hmm. We get I feel like a lot of people would watch our films and see like I don't think it's bad camera quality, just not like Hollywood standards camera quality, and they see that and like, this must be bad, and like, no, it's hard to get cameras that look like proper professional unless you're spending thousands and thousands and thousands. And I don't think people really listen to or watch films that aren't fully professional standard, which I don't blame them for. It just makes it harder for us to get noticed.
It does, and it means people miss out on some really good ones. I mean, even Soderbergh made a film with an iPhone. It was a terrible film, but not because it was on an iPhone. Like, the shooting quality was really good. Because there are plenty of times I'm like, just shoot that on the phone, because they've come up in quality so much. And yeah, there's a difference between shooting it on even the best phone versus shooting it on a cinema camera, but
definitely. Well, someone actually, I think it was a review, like an online article that was reviewing Blackbird, and they said the cinematography is not great. It was shot on a cheap camera, or even their phone, and I was really offended. I use a £2,000 Panasonic camera that I'd lent from my college, so I was like, I may as well have used my phone, because to be honest, that would probably be better quality anyway. So we might experiment with that in the future. Oh, I might add that the review did like it in the end. That was just the bits they didn't like.
Yeah, they feel like they have to have some sort of criticism for it.
Yeah, of course. I always take it personally. We're always like, if only they'd have like only praised us. But no, like, you've got to be open to it. It's just at this level, the slightest, like, you can get 100 people saying something great, and then just one or two say something bad, and then it'll only be the bad comments that you think about. You don't really weigh them up in scale.
Oh yeah, that is the bane of the internet. It doesn't matter if the whole world loves you. That one asshole who's like, oh my god, he's totally awful.
I just don't understand these people. I just don't understand people who just go through like people's short films just disliking them. Like, at least the people who put comments have some dignity. They're all right to say, like, I didn't like. Who is going through them and disliking them? Like, what do you expect?
I always wonder that, like, because I've watched plenty of things that I've looked at and been like, okay, that's shit. I just move on. I have never taken the time to thumbs down a video.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would do it. I don't think I've ever thumbs down a video that wasn't, like, genuinely offensive. I can't think of anything that actually was, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know who does that. And especially when it's so clear that, like, a lot of the praise we get is not you're great filmmakers. It's that you have the potential to be the next great filmmakers. So obviously that's huge for us. But when people watch it, they're expecting Martin Scorsese or Alfred Hitchcock. It's like, no, I'm 18. I am not going to be up there. But yeah, people just expect that. And there's nothing you can really do. You just have to think of the nice comments and then forget about the bad comments.
Yeah, I wonder that. Because, I mean, especially when you found it on YouTube. I mean, granted, big studios now are releasing, you know, like at least trailers or some really high quality videos. But it's YouTube. It was self-released. Yeah. You expect this to be low budget. And the first thing in the budget that goes is really expensive equipment.
I know.
I thought it was really good.
Thank you very much. Like, who would watch that and think it was going to be like a best picture winning masterpiece? Like, I don't know why you would watch. I don't know why you would hate on it when it's clearly young people.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like, if you don't like it, just move on. Although this is not an industry to be thin-skinned, because there is a lot of criticism. But
that's where I struggle. That's why I need Connor, who's like a co-produce and co-write with. Like, that's why he's the how do I put it? The slightly less sensitive one. He'll kick some sense into me. I'll be like, oh no, I'm worried about this, and he'll just be like, no, this film is great or whatever.
Right. It's not a good idea to waste your time on the opinions of people who had nothing better to do than troll you on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, what are you doing with your life? But no, honestly, more than video, I'm always more concerned with audio. You know, they say people will...
Audio is what you notice.
Right. I can watch bad video, but if I can't hear it clearly, that's more of an indicator I'm probably just going to move on.
Yeah, definitely. The focus seems to be video when I think audio is so much more important.
It
just needs to sound good. If it's like, if it was perfect HD and crackly audio, I would rather like crappy, like just normal camcorder quality and like perfect sound.
Right, yeah. I'll watch, you know, a 720, but I won't watch a 4K with shit audio.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see. What else were we talking? We actually started off to talk about how the pandemic is affecting filmmaking, but
yeah, and then we got on a tangent. What were we talking about? Oh, like trolls online. Great,
right,
great.
right. Internet trolls.
I say I don't want to give them any attention, yet I spend a podcast talking about them. That's great. That's so hypocritical.
Right, but they're not going to watch this anyway, and if they do, I just thumbs down their comments.
Of course not.
No, but yeah, like, do you see any, like, how are you gonna adjust with your cast, with your crew? Any plans for like how you're gonna stay safe, or are you just gonna put it off until the apocalypse passes?
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to wait. I don't, because as I was saying earlier, I cancelled the premiere of Blackbird about a month before like lockdown even began, just because I was so like weary of how it was going to affect people's safety.
Mm-hmm.
So I just would not feel, as I said, I'm quite sensitive, especially with things like that. I would not feel comfortable like making people come down to film and then having that. However, we do usually have quite a limited crew. So if it got to the stage where it's kind of safe to, we could do it.
Yeah.
It just depends. I'd rather like safe than sorry though.
Right.
I wouldn't put anyone at risk.
That seems to be a more prudent approach than some people are taking.
Have you had other people on who are like, yeah, we're just going to film it. And if someone dies on screen, we'll put that in it.
Right. Well, it is horror, so, go for that. Go for the realistic. But then I'm thinking, Hollywood's shut down right now. The mayor of LA said nothing's opening up until at least July 4th. So now is the really good time. Like now into the next few months, I think, is kind of the indie filmmakers' time. If your stuff's on YouTube, the theaters are still closed, so obviously I can't go to the movies. They're not producing new content, so I can see it's going to be real tempting for people to take advantage of this. And, even the thing you shot at 14, put that up there, because at this point, we're getting really desperate for entertainment, so.
Yeah, definitely. We have been getting more views in this period. Not many more, but more than we would get in normal time, just because people are at home. They're inevitably going to watch it at some point. But yeah, as you said, like this is the time for indie filmmakers. I think a lot of, hopefully next year, we start getting like loads of like indie films that are really good, because we've had all this time to, especially in the UK, write more and just write screenplays. Like a lot of people say that they're going to use this time to write. I don't know how many people stick to it, but I think hopefully that's one of the positives that we do get.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people been sending us scripts, either looking for, a producer when it's safe to start producing, or just wanting to workshop them. And there are, because we only read horror scripts, so there are a lot of like pandemic themed things that are obviously fiction, because nobody wants to watch people sitting on their couch watching YouTube for a movie. But yeah, there are some interesting takes on what could have been the worst case scenario. Some really interesting ideas on vaccines. That was a thing that someone was bringing up, that the idea of a horror movie with the vaccine, ultimately making people sicker or turning people into fleshy.
Oh, that's some propaganda there.
It is, and that's where I was concerned. Like,
I'm really concerned about that.
Yeah, like, I'll never think that violence in media causes violence in real life. Because if you're going to watch a Tarantino movie and shoot people up, you were fucked up to begin with. But,
yeah, like, definitely.
Are we going to have some sort of, like, moral obligation not to fearmonger? Because, like, what if we put this out there and someone decides, like, it plants that little, like, inception seed of an idea, and then they're like, maybe I won't get that vaccine, and then the whole civilization just collapses because of one horror movie on YouTube. So I don't know.
That's really interesting, because usually I would say that things like that don't have any effect on the viewer, like it's just a movie and stuff, obviously with violence and things like that. In fact, sometimes it even proves the opposite point. So like my film Blackbird, I'm like obviously very anti-violence. However, in the film, she spends most of it killing people. But then again, look what happens to her. So I'm kind of trying to make the opposite point. I'm trying to prove that all of that is bad. But with the anti-vaccine stuff, I just think that's I feel like I'm using my own personal bias, but then again, it is backed by science, so I'm allowed to.
Right.
I just don't know. I don't think that's very safe, and I think it'd be very ill-informed and very stupid to do that, especially at this moment in time when we might hopefully have a vaccine at some point. If just a bunch of people don't take it, we're in trouble.
Yeah, and that was the concern. So I'm like, it's a good script, and maybe it's more of a script for a few years down the line, because it's not a question I ever thought. Like, the last thing you want to see are safe artists. You want artists who are out there taking chances, pushing things further. But I also don't want to be responsible for dooming the human race. Like, that seems...
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
because you can't just make what everyone else is making, because then how are you going to stick out? Like, most short films that I see are like the same. Like, no offense to people, but people just play it safe and go by the same formula, thinking that that's what gets you noticed. But no, it isn't really. You've got to do something different. Like, how do you think they decide who makes it? How do you think they decide who gets to move up into professional when they're exactly the same as others? No, you've got to take chances. But then again, promoting anti-vax propaganda is just irresponsible.
Right. Like, even when you intended it to be entirely fictional, we're kind of like, I'm just not sure that now is the prime time for that particular story. But yeah,
I think unless they're trying to make the opposite point, which hopefully they were, it does depend on the context.
Yeah, I would be concerned that people who didn't necessarily, if you didn't hear all of the science behind a measles vaccine, are you gonna hear any sort of moral point here? So exactly. Yeah, that's the thing that we've been wondering, is there gonna be some sort of like obligation to not perpetuate the fear and put people into a state of panic, to not plant even that seed of an idea that could grow. And I don't know, something that I've wondered if artists are going to have to be concerned about at least a little bit.
Yeah, there's so much that we have to be sensitive about, especially most of it for good reason, to be fair, but I don't know. There's just so much unanswered. And there's going to be so much unanswered for quite a while. I just think people need to use common sense. But as long as people don't do that very often, so me saying it isn't going to change that whatsoever. I think we are going to have some sort of obligation to an extent, but hopefully it doesn't impede on the artistic value. People still need to take chances. Just do it responsibly, and don't be stupid. Don't go telling people not to take the COVID vaccine, because that would be disastrous.
Yeah, that would not work out well for any of us. Was there any other points you wanted to bring up before Zoom tells us we have to restart or anything?
Oh yeah, Zoom is just like that. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'm thinking of I've brought up a lot of stuff. I think the conversation has just kind of brought up a lot of the points. But yeah, we're just keeping doing our thing. Hopefully we'll be able to film soon, but I don't know when.
Yeah.
But hopefully when we are able to, there will be a lot more content. I know that John and Connor want to start directing their own stuff, because to this point every single As the Camera film has been written and directed by me, at least mostly written by, and then always directed by. So it'd be nice to see some different people directing the films and just seeing how that goes. It would give me a break for sure.
That's nice. Not everyone's eager to share the spotlight with their friends and let someone else direct. So
yeah, of course.
I'm always interested in finding new directors, so I can't wait to see what they do. But yeah, we'll definitely link Blackbird in the description.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and we'll get as many people as we can watching, because it really is. It's a very good film. It's very dark, very twisted, very British.
Thank you so much. But yeah, anyone who wants to watch it, please do, because it would help us out. Like, as I've said, we're struggling, but not that much. Yeah. We've been nominated for 2 awards at festivals recently. So that's been really uplifting, because we never got that in the past. It was only because Blackbird was doing so well that we were like, yeah, let's chuck it in. We're actually nominated. Oh, wow, okay. So yeah, that happened. I was made up with that.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to watch, if it sounds like your sort of thing, anyone who's watching, it's basically a dark comedy set in England in 1985. Don't know how familiar you'll be with the history of that period, but it was very controversial with the politics of that period. I have a strong opinion on it, but you'll just have to watch the film to find out. And it's this murderous girl on the edge of society who's trying to bring her way back up because so much bad has happened to her.
Yeah, and it's great. It should definitely be watched. I'm sure it'll do well in the festivals.
Thank you so much. I'm waiting. Yeah, we're still waiting to hear from a few of them. We didn't actually know when, so it's just going to be a surprise. I'm just going to wake up and open email and then find out what happened just on one random day. We were meant to be finding out about another film we'd put up for an award today. Then I checked, and then they've moved the date, so that was a letdown. I was waiting to hear what happened to that today.
Yeah, a lot of them have been canceled. We always run a festival of horror shorts, and we've just had to cancel it because they're not allowing any gatherings through the summer here. So
yeah, of course. I know a lot of festivals are doing it online. Yes. It's just not the same. It's not the same social event. It's not like a networking thing. It's not like you get to showcase your work. It'd just be like putting it online, which you would be doing anyway.
Right. Yeah. Because we always show them online so they get the biggest audience possible. But before that, we screen them at a theater, and it's like, if we can't do that, we'll just let people, if they want to put their shit online, put it online. We'll promote them because they're great, the ones that we were going to show, but we just decided to cancel it, start again next year, hopefully. But it was really nice to meet you, Matthew, and it was really nice to watch your movie.
Really nice talking to you. I'm really glad you enjoyed it, especially.
Yes, okay. Well, this has been a very good time, and we will have to do this again. We can get together.
Yeah, I'd love to, definitely.
Yeah, see how things pan out once everything opens up. All right, well, thank you. And everyone, this has been the Screaming Ginger talking with Matthew Reyonlds. And don't forget to check out Blackbird on YouTube, link in the description below.